Yes, it is a very, very beautiful Thursday morning right here, and it is also the last day in the month of February. Today is 29th February 2024, and also a leap year, the past 4 years. Before we see it again, it's going to take another 4 years for us to experience a leap year. But then again, here we are, and we thank God for a wonderful, wonderful morning. This is, the morning where we bring you the newspaper review right here on Citizen 93.7 FM. It is time for the newspaper review today. And my name is Shaun Smith. Thank you very much for being a part of this morning, and also for tuning in to, listen to your talk radio. And as usual, I am joined by our in-house analyst, Mr. Salman Salami, who is also the Chief Operating Officer here at Citizen 93.7 FM, and he is also a seasoned journalist. Thank you very much, sir, and good morning to you.
Sure. Very good morning to you, and as usual, we must greet our
super citizen,
our bosses, the super citizen listeners. Please, as you listen, kindly let us have your feedback.
Yes, and that is very important that you do listen, pay attention, and hopefully at the half-hour mark when I bring on our in-house analysts to, peruse some of the stories, then you can call in and join the conversation. But before that time, we need to look at some of the papers across the national dailies. We'll take a look at Punch newspaper, This Day newspaper, Daily Trust, Guardian newspaper, Leadership newspaper, Vanguard, Nigeria Tribune, and also the Nation newspaper. And taking a look quickly at the Punch newspaper, here on the cover page, it says that SIM NIN linkage, NCC rules out extension, telcos bar 12 million lines. NCC rules out extension, telcos bar 12 million lines. And that you'd find on the Punch newspaper for today. Moving on quickly, on the latest news part, it says that the military destroys Zamfara bandit enclave and kills scores. Military destroys Zamfara bandit enclave and kills scores. Another says that Army uncovers 40 wells where oil thieves fetch crude oil. Army uncovers 40 wells where oil thieves fetch crude oil. Another story here says that this present hunger should not be politicized. This present hunger should not be politicized. And the next here says the Senate summons Wike CP over Umoko's aide killing by kidnappers. Senate summons Wike CP over Umoko's aide killing by kidnappers. And still taking a look at the Punch newspaper, here it also says that Ighodalo promises to beat Obaseki's record. Shaibu threatens lawsuit. Ighodalo promises to beat Obaseki's record. Shaibu threatens lawsuit. That you'd find on the Punch newspaper for today. And also we can also still see on the Punch newspaper that police probe Niger photographers killing. Police probe Niger photographers killing. And also in regards to the Edo poll, it says courts to determine PDP's candidate, says Shaibu. Court to determine PDP's candidate, says Shaibu. Now, moving on quickly to the next newspaper here, and that is This Day newspaper. On the latest headlines, you'd find much ado about Oronshai's report. Much ado about Oronshai's report. And next one here, on the cover page, you'd definitely find the one I just said, which is the much ado about Oronshai's report. Says the federal government announced its preparedness to implement the Steve Oronshai report of 2012 and the subsequent 2014 white paper by the Mohammed Bello Adoke. And the next one here says that NUPRC eyes a $17.67 billion investment in upstream, 2.12 billion barrels oil, 13.13 TCF gas recovery in 5 years. NUPRC eyes a $17.67 billion investment in upstream, 2.12 billion barrel oil, 13.13 TCF gas recovery in 5 years. And now the next story says Tinubu Akeredolu's death leaves a vacuum difficult to fill. Tinubu says that Akeredolu's death leaves a vacuum difficult to fill. And also, Binance others face billions of dollars in fines by SEC over alleged currency manipulations. Binance others face billions of dollars in fines by SEC over alleged currency manipulation. And here also, NLC TUC not divided, internal issues will be resolved, says Manjiber. NLC TUC not divided, internal issues will be resolved. And then the story you'd find on This Day newspaper for today, 29th February 2024. And also next one here says that LCCI urges federal government, CBN, to make credit available to MSMEs at concessionary rates. LCCI urges federal government, CBN, to make credit available to MSMEs at concessionary rates. And then also in regards to NCC, robust local content value chain will boost economy and job creation. Robust local content value chain will boost economy and also job creation. And lastly, you see that federal government release 50 billion naira for primary health fund, issue executive order to curb escalating drug prices. Federal government to release 50 billion naira for primary health fund, issue executive order to curb escalating drug prices. And next here is on Daily Trust. And here on Daily Trust this morning, on the cover page, you'd see that in regards to JAPA, it says federal government recruits 2,497 doctors and others. The federal government has said that it has recruited 2,497 doctors, midwives, nurses, and community health extension workers in the last 6 months. And that is in regards to the Japa syndrome. You'd find that on Daily Trust newspaper as one of the top stories for today. And also, NCC orders MTN Glo to block SIMs without NIN. NCC orders MTN Glo to block SIMs without NIN. Now, the federal government to establish 24 skills innovation centers. Federal government to establish 24 skills innovation centers. And also, it says here that Shatima inaugurates NACON board. Shatima inaugurates NACON board. And still taking a look at the Daily Trust newspaper in regards to the story. Shatima inaugurates NACON board. The Vice President, Kashim Shatima, has inaugurated a newly constituted board of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, with a call on the new management to introduce innovations that will improve Hajj operations in the country. And this was done during the inauguration at the presidential villa in Abuja yesterday. Shatima urged the members to synergize and bring fresh perspectives to the operations of the commission. And that story is on the Daily Trust newspaper quickly looking at the next story here with a headline that says NAFDAC PCN seal 1,370 medicine outlets in Kano. NAFDAC PCN seals 1,370 medicine outlets in Kano over the failure to relocate to the coordinated wholesale center, and that is the CWC. The outlets are those operating in the open drug market of Sabungari, Malamkato, and May Karami in Kano. And that you'd find on the Daily Trust for today. Next says the minister seeks mobile court for sexual assault. Minister seeks a mobile court for sexual assault. And also, FCTA officials storm Abuja BDC headquarters, clear shanties. FCTA officials storm Abuja BDC headquarters, clear shanties. And here also in the Daily Trust newspaper this morning, would find that NSCDC investigates 7 over rape and trafficking. NSCDC investigates 7 over rape and trafficking. And also in Edo State, it says that FRSC arrests 2,147 in 1 month. FRSC arrests 2,147 in 1 month. And with that, let's quickly head on to the next paper here. And that is the Leadership newspaper for today. It says on the cover page that the federal government takes steps to crash cost of drugs. On Leadership newspaper, on the cover story, it says that federal government takes steps to crash cost of drugs. Next here, it says Ikeja Electric pushes for sustainable waste disposal in public schools. Ikeja Electric pushes for sustainable waste disposal in public schools. And also on the latest headline for Leadership newspaper, it says reprieve as foreign airlines heed NCAA directive, open cheaper tickets. Reprieve as foreign airlines heed NCCA directive, open cheaper tickets. Apparently, following complaints of high ticket airfare for international trips, the major foreign airlines have heeded the directive of the Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority to open their lower inventory tickets that they had hitherto blocked for months. Now, recall that Nigerians were made to pay higher fares on international flights as only the higher inventory tickets were opened in Nigeria, while the lower inventory tickets were blocked for months now. But that has been reopened. And moving on to the next story here, it says Plateau to export agricultural product for economic growth. Plateau to export agricultural product for economic growth. And now in regards to a mishap, only 25% of passengers boats in Lagos water seaworthy. In regards to mishap, only 25% of passenger boats in Lagos water seaworthy, and this was said by NIWA, and that is the National Inland Waterways Authority, against the backdrop of recent boat mishaps on the Lagos Inland Waterway. The National Inland Waterways Authority raised the alarm that only 25% of passengers boats on the Lagos Inland Waterways are seaworthy, and it was reported that 2 boat mishaps have happened on Lagos waterways in the last 1 week, and the accidents have claimed several lives. Still on the Leadership newspaper for today, let's see, it says here that vandals attack court's AEDC's power supply by 250 megawatts, says a TCN. Vandals attack cuts AEDC's power supply by 250 megawatts, says TCN. Apparently, yesterday it was a whole lot for the Federal Capital Territory because here major parts of Abuja, Nigeria's federal capital city, have been plunged into darkness as attacks on Tower 70 along the 330 kV Gwagwalada Katampe transmission line reduce bulk power supply flexibility and the volume of power into the city by 250 megawatts. Now, TCN, the transmission company of Nigeria, the agency managing the facility, said the incident occurred on Monday, 26th of February 2024 at about 11:32 p.m. But here I am telling you that we all felt the burn of, the outage yesterday. Apparently, it was total blackout for most parts of the Federal Capital Territory yesterday. But thank God, most of the power has been restored. Now, moving on to Vanguard newspaper. It says here on the cover story that Oranshari report, federal government, Labour disagree on job losses. In regards to the Oranshari report, federal government, Labour disagrees on job losses. Workers and the federal government sharply disagreed yesterday over how the implementation of the Steve Oranshari report will affect jobs in the country. While the FG allayed fears of job losses in the implementation of the report, which seeks to rationalize government agencies and parastatals, workers warned that there will be massive job losses. And still looking at the latest stories here on Vanguard, it says in regards to Edo Gilba, fresh crisis brews in PDP. In regards to the Edo Guba, fresh crisis brews in PDP. And the next story says that investors lose 1.5 trillion naira in stocks over new monetary policies. And also, about power to start commercial operations this weekend. Next says Tony Elumelu Foundation enters Harvard's curriculum. Tony Elumelu's foundation enters Harvard's curriculum. And here also, the alternative bank fosters rural economic growth in Katsina. The alternative bank fosters rural economic growth in Katsina. And here we can see another story here that says, in regards to Wigwe, family shuns RCCG City of David as its set burial date. The family of Wigwe shuns RCCG City of David as its set burial date. That you find on the Vanguard newspaper for today. But taking a look at the Guardian, the story here says on the Guardian newspaper, right there on the cover page, it says that two Binance officials detained in Nigeria. Two Binance officials detained in Nigeria. Nigerian authorities have detained two senior officials of the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, Binance. Financial Times did report on Wednesday the detention of the officials came a day after Nigeria's central bank governor Olayemi Kadoso put a ban on Binance here in Nigeria. And next says that Nigeria spends about 50% of oil earnings on production costs. Nigeria spends about 50% of oil earnings on production cost. Now let's take a look at the Nigerian Tribune so we can get up to speed with the analysis. Here on the Nigerian Tribune, on the cover page, it says that most reported kidnap cases stage managed, and that was said by the police. Most reported kidnap cases stage managed. And next says that NLC gives reasons for shelving nationwide protests. On the latest updates, It says that Abuja Vice Chancellor calls for review of 2011 TET Fund Act. Abuja Vice Chancellor calls for review of 2011 TET Fund Act. And now also we can see that federal government appeals to stakeholders on implementation of standards in secondary school. Federal government appeals to stakeholders on implementation of standards in secondary schools. And also, Customs appoint 2 new DCGs. Custom appoint 2 new DCGs. And let's move on quickly to the Nation newspaper. Here on the Nation, the cover page says that Tinubu says we are laying foundation for restructuring. We are laying solid foundation for restructuring. And still on the Nation newspaper, you'll find here that it says NLC cannot be compelled to work with other unions, says Ajaero. NLC can't be compelled to work with other unions, says Ajaero. And here also you see that First Lady inaugurates Women Agriculture Program to boost food production. First Lady inaugurates Women Agricultural Program to boost food production. And next as well says that President plans executive order to cut prices of drugs. President plans executive order to cut prices of drugs. And also we find here that severe fiber cuts disrupt telecom services. Severe fiber cuts disrupt telecom services. A particular network provider was literally off for over 4 hours sometime yesterday. And this comes with a rider that says NCC to telcos deactivate SIMs not linked to NIN. Now, mobile network operators apologized yesterday to the subscribers for the service hitches they have experienced for some days. The MNOs, under the aegis of the Association of Licensed Telecoms Operators of Nigeria, blamed the service disruptions on severe fiber cuts by contractors. Severe fiber cuts by contractors. And then they say, and I quote, that's the Alton chairman, Benga Adebayo, says there are reports of multiple fiber cuts that took a toll on the integrity of our networks. In case you're interested in the story, you can get a copy of the Nation newspaper and get up to speed with the rest of the story. And also, we see here on the Nation that Tinubu billed for Qatar today. Tinubu billed for Qatar today. And here as well, it says that Senate throws out bill seeking to include Anambra among NDDC states. Senate throws out bill seeking to include Anambra among NDDC states. The Senate on Wednesday threw out a bill which sought to include Anambra among states comprising the Niger Delta Development Commission. The move and rejection led to disagreement between Senator Tony Nwoye, Anambra North, and Senator Jibrin Isa, popularly known as Achocho, APC, Kogi East. The bill, which is titled A Bill for an Act to Amend the Niger Delta Development Commission Act to make provision for the inclusion of Anambra State as one of the member states and for other connected matters thereto 2024, was sponsored by Senator Uwonye. That story you'd find on the Nation newspaper, so you can get up to speed with the rest of the story. And here as well, it says that how Nigeria can attain $1 trillion economy by the Manufacturing Association of Nigeria says how Nigeria can attain $1 trillion economy. And lastly, here says that PDP, APC, LP set for crucial battle in Edo. that the People's Democratic Party, Labour Party, All Progressive Congress sets for crucial battle in Edo, as elections in Edo State have been dominated by the PDP and the APC. But the forthcoming governorship election in September may be a different ballgame, as the Labour Party, which has emerged as a third force, may likely challenge the dominance of the two parties. And that's that on the stories across the national dailies for today. It's about time for us to go on a very quick break. But before then, I'd like to let you know that you can call in to interact with us and also air your opinion, contribute on the stories that you've heard so far. The number to call is 0903 2229 797. 0903 2229 797, or you can leave us a message on WhatsApp, or also call the WhatsApp number, and that is 0818 222205. 0818 222205. You're listening to Citizen 93.7 FM. Do stay tuned. We'll be right back after this very short break. And yes, many thanks for staying tuned. To our Super Citizen listeners, thank you for being a part of this morning's newspaper review. We just got back from a very short break. You know how we have to cook things behind the scene just to make sure that we're delivering and also properly analyzing, major stories that concerns you and I as, citizens of this wonderful country. Once again, you can call us on 0903 2229 797 0903 2229 797 or 0818 222205 0818 222205. And now it's time for me to bring on our in-house analyst as we start with proper analysis of the stories right here on across the national dailies for today. On the top story of the Punch newspaper, apparently NCC rules out extension telco bars 12 million lines. NCC rules out extension and telco bars 12 million lines. And also in a very relatable form as well, there was also the network outage that we experienced yesterday that says that severe fiber cuts disrupt telecom services. I'm taking the two stories together so that we can properly talk about it. Call in to also share your experience, because if I'm even to start sharing mine, first thing I would say is I was definitely frustrated with the network glitch. I would even call it a crunch. But then again, let's hear what our in-house analyst has to say in regards to this. Mr. Salami, sir.
Once again, good morning, our Super Citizen listeners. Well, yesterday was not a particularly good day for network providers and consumers as well. It was so sad, so terrible, so frustrating, so horrifying. I do not even have enough adjective to describe what most users of telecom services passed through yesterday, what they went through. It was agonizing. I keep on saying it, that there must be consequence. It is not enough for the mobile network providers to say that severe fiber cut by contractors caused it. It is not enough. You are not doing us a favor. We are paying for this service. Are you going to refund the money yesterday? Are you going to refund our money? There is the need for you to compensate us. We all went through a very hard time yesterday. Moreover, you did not forewarn us. You did not tell us that, please, for so reason, so will happen. You have taken us for granted. And I think that the federal government of Nigeria will not allow this to go unpunished. We play with the government. Don't sweep this under the carpet. Nigerians went through a hell yesterday. And, of course, there is nothing to show that we will be compensated or that money will be refunded to the consumers. I think the government should be alive and sensitive to the yearnings of the people. You are supposed to protect us. Please protect us. Please do protect us, knowing fully well that we are entitled to quality service because we pay. In fact, we pay through our nose or noses, as it were. We plead on with the government. Please come to the aid of the hapless Nigerians who suffered in the hands of the network providers. Saying that severe fiber cut by contractors caused it is not enough. It's untenable. It's not tenable. Please protect Nigerians, and that is why government is there to ensure and to see to the welfare and the well-being of the citizens, apart from the protection of life and property. Please come to our aid and see to our welfare over this.
All right, thank you very much, Mrs. Salami. I'm sure citizen listeners out there, could also understand could also be at the branch to this. But then again, I'm sure also that our federal governments are listening and paying attention to our complaints and our cries, and they would make sure that we are duly compensated in that regard. And now, talking about compensation and responsibility, here it says that Tinubu says, I take full responsibility, Nigeria will recover. President Bola Tinubu appealed for patience from Nigerians over the current economic hardship in the country, giving the assurance that there was light at the end of the tunnel. The president said he was fully aware and took responsibility for the difficulties Nigerians had been subjected to on account of government policies. He said, and I quote, that he would not complain but welcome all criticisms since he was the one who asked to be Nigeria's president. And then he spoke in Akure, the Ondo State capital, during his visit to the leader of the Pan-Yoruba socio-political organization, Afeni Ferry. Mrs. Salami, what do you make of this? I will call it vulnerability, actually, from our president, owning up to, the issues that we're having and then taking full responsibility for.
You said you call it what?
Well, I'll call it vulnerability. He's vulnerably taking responsibility for, the issues happening in the country. And then since he says that Nigeria will recover and he's fully aware of, the situation and is taking responsibility for the difficulties.
Yes, we should appreciate Mr. President for owning up, for having the courage to say, I am responsible and accept full responsibility. That is the beginning of the solution to our problem. When you have real leaders don't pass buck. Why? The buck starts on their table. And this is courageous for Mr. President to say that, yes, I know that there is hardship in the land. I feel your pains. I take full responsibility for these necessary steps that I've taken, policies that I've taken. It is for your own good. And that at the end of the tunnel, there will be light after the glorious dawn. We should thank Mr. President.
Okay, thank you.
We should thank Mr. President for even knowing, for being responsive and responsible, for being a listening Mr. President. At least he has shown us that he knows what he's doing. He knows that for now there is hardship. If we know that there will be light at the end of the tunnel, we will wear this hardship like a badge of honor, knowing fully well that our president knows what he's doing. Apart from this, he did something fantastic yesterday. He went to Ondo State, specifically Owo and Akure, to commiserate with the people of the state over the demise of the governor, former governor, late Rotimi Akeredolu. Despite the fact that he had sent the vice president, Alhaji Kashim Shettima, to the place to represent him. He went there personally. This is the mark of leadership. Empathy. To empathize with the people. That I feel your pains. I know what you are going through. The loss of life of any Nigerian is important to me. It's a grief. It's a monumental loss. That is showing sympathy, empathy, and concern for the people. When we know that our president is there for us, it rekindles hope in the people, and this is what we need. A leader that shares our grief, shares out of our joy, and is always there for us when we know that we have a leader who shares our pains. The pain is reduced to a large extent, and we should not take this for granted, that here comes a leader who feels the pains of all Nigerians, and that he is not there to inflict pain on us, but the policies are necessary policies, that there is the need for us to persevere. There is the need for us to go through this today so that our tomorrow will be better. But let them walk the talk, so that at the end of the day, Nigerians will say, yes, it was worth it. Because if you know that tomorrow will be better than today, you'll be ready to sacrifice, and do not let our sacrifice be in vain.
All right, thank you very much, Mrs. Salami, for that. And now there's this headline here on the Punch newspaper that says this president's hunger should not be politicized. This president's hunger should not be politicized. I don't even have to say so much about it, but Mr. Salami, what would you have to say in regards to that particular headline?
You see, there is no way they will not politicize this hunger. You know, politicians will always take advantage of whatever situation, and of course, because most of them are propagandists. And mark my word, hunger fuels anger. If hunger fuels anger, and politicians are who they are, they will remain who they are, and they will take advantage. But then let the government do the needful. Let Nigerians smile. That is the most important thing. Let's know, we need to see that yes, you are alive and responsive to the yearnings of the people. It is not until then that there won't be anger again, because hunger fuels anger.
Okay, thank you very much for that line that you just dropped. Now let's even talk about the story here. It is a top story on the Daily Trust newspaper, and it says that in regards to JAPA, the federal government recruits 2,497 doctors and others that is 2,497 doctors, midwives, nurses, and community health extension workers in the last 6 months to bridge the manpower gap in the health sector due to the emigration of health workers. This was disclosed by the coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Ali Pate. Over to you, Mr. Salami.
Well, Professor Mohammed Ali Pate, the Minister of Health, is somebody that I'm very proud of. Very proud of him because I have had cause to meet with him when he was the Executive Secretary of Primary Health Development Commission there. He did very well. And as the Minister of Health, I hope and pray that he does very well. So for the federal government to recruit 2,497 doctors, midwives, community health extension workers, and nurses, it is the right thing to do. It is the right policy. It's in the right direction. But we need more than that. We still need more than that. Federal government should prioritize the health of Nigerians. Only healthy body can be productive. We need to be healthy for us to be productive. And a healthy nation is a potentially prosperous nation. You can't come to work. You couldn't have come to work. Shame, of course, you didn't come to work last week because you weren't in good But we thank God that you are okay now. That is why I'm saying that only those who are healthy walk or walk. So government should please prioritize the health of Nigerians by one, making healthcare delivery system available, affordable, and accessible for Nigerians. The rich ones, of course, they can travel and access health in advanced countries. But we, majority of us, are here, and we go to our health clinics or centers here. That's why we are pleading with the government to please prioritize health of Nigerians and make healthcare delivery system worthy of being so called.
Okay, now talking about healthcare delivery systems and medicine in general, it says here that the National